Hi everyone! We're going to do a little origami project today, and we're going to be making some origami tulips. And this is the flower part of the tulip, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So I'm going to set this aside, and we'll be looking at those a little bit later. So the first part of the activity is you need to know how to make a square out of regular copy paper, or if you're lucky enough to have construction paper. So that's the first part of the lesson, and then I'm going to show you this easy fold on how to make the origami flower tulip. So take my paper, and I'm first going to fold it point to point, and I'm going to hold this point and hold here. These two sides have to match up nicely. I'm going to hold it in the middle, and this I call the bubble. I'm going to take my finger, press it down, and flatten that bubble, okay? And then this is the crease side, so I'm just going to take my thumbnail and go right across to make a nice crease. So now I'm going to fold it a second time. These 2 points, these 2 points have to come up here. So I'm going to fold it in half, point to point, hold it in the middle. Here's the bubble, and I'm going to flatten down that bubble. All right, and then make a nice crease. Now you're probably saying, this still is not a square, and you're right, these are rectangles. So now I'm going to show you 2 ways of cutting these out. The first way I'm going to show is the hard way. So let's try that. I'm going to cut this one the hard way. And I shouldn't really say hard, it's just a little bit more challenging, especially for some of the younger artists here. So I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to just make a little rip. Let me see if you can see that little tear right there. And then I'm going to bring it down. This hand is going to hold firm, and this hand is going to pull and tear on that line. Now, so far this is going pretty good, but sometimes it gets off that line. So that went pretty well, okay? So there's one way of cutting. And then, of course, you all know the other way is where you're going to use your scissors and just cut right along that folded line. Okay? So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've got 4 rectangles again. I need squares. Most every origami project I know of uses a square to start with. So let me set these aside, and I'm going to show you how you make a square from this rectangle. I'm going to take this point, or this corner, and this line here. It's going to match up over here. So how I do it, I take a hold of the point, and I'm going to guide this line here all the way over to this edge. Now look at, mine isn't flat against that edge, so I've got to make sure that that's flat against the edge, and then I can flatten it down. Okay, just like that. Now this bottom piece, you can cut this off the easy way with scissors, which I'm going to do, or you can fold this and do the tearing way that I showed earlier. But let's keep this simple and just use scissors. All right, so now you have a square. But I need this paper folded like this, and then I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to take this point up here. So just like this. Okay. Now you're going to notice that I have this nice folded line right down the middle. All right. I'm going to set this down the long way down towards me. I'm going to take my finger, hold this. I'm going to take this point, and I'm going to reach it up here like this. And see how this point is off? It's not touch, it comes off the side of that paper. All right? So I'm going to hold it here and let this point come off the side of the paper. So now I'll hold it up a little bit closer. You can see what that looks like. This is almost the tulip shape that I want. This is going to be the front of my tulip. This is the back side. So I'm going to take the back side and I'm just going to tuck those points in. And there I have it. I have a tulip. So now I did mention Post-it notes. You could use Post-it notes. And here is a Post-it note. Or did I mention it? Well, at any rate, you can use a Post-it note if you cannot get the hang of making the first version of squares. So here's my Post-it note. I'm going to do the same thing, point to point, or you might want to make these and then make Post-it note size ones that are a little bit smaller. And then open it this way. And I'm going to keep it this way. And then I'm going to fold this point up where it comes right off the edge of the paper. And this point up comes right off the edge of the paper. So now you've got two different sizes of tulips, okay? Now there's another thing I wanted to show you. Let's say you don't have construction paper, but you want to have colorful flowers. Well, you can certainly, just after you've folded it, you can certainly take a crayon and color it. Or you can color your square first. Now if you color your square first, you start with it down. And then I'll fold it up here. And then I fold it this way. And this. And that. Okay. Almost done with the tulip. I just have to tuck those points behind. There. Now I've got a plain white one and a colorful one. So, after you get the hang of making your origami tulip, you're probably thinking, well, what are we going to do with these? Well, there's a couple ideas that I have. And one thing you could do is, on another piece of paper, maybe make some stems and leaves. And let me get a colored one on here so you can see it better. And you can glue your tulips down and just make a picture like that. Or you might want to make a still life. And you could make a vase and a tabletop and some stems sticking out, and then add your tulips in there. Or you could make a card for Mother's Day and just fold paper, maybe make a bunch of tulips in different sizes. I'm using my plain white ones now on the front of the card, and of course you're going to have to glue these down, and then make your stems and leaves that way. And then on the inside, write something wonderful for your mom. So, origami tulips. I can't wait to see what you do. Have fun. Bye-bye.